The exploration of human nature makes people dare the most difficult experiments. Only by trial and error does a person realize if he has chosen the right path. Our heroes are some of the great minds of mankind, but even they cannot find the right answer to their questions the first time. By delving into the secrets and sometimes dirty secrets of those around us, we understand our nature better. And the most dangerous methods of research sometimes give unexpected results. What kind of results? You'll find out by watching the retelling. This is Mr. Narrator. Enjoy the movie. The movie begins with Sabina Spielrein being brought to the Burgosli clinic. The girl is out of her mind, and the clinic staff has a hard time getting her inside. In the room where the heroine is located, Dr. Jungs enters. He suggests Sabina to talk about why she has nervous breakdowns. Sabina suggests that such things happen because she has experienced shame and humiliation since childhood. Later, the man discusses the patient with his pregnant wife Emma. The woman says that Sabine is exactly the kind of girl who can be cured with conversation. Gustav thinks about it too. The doctor continues his conversations with Sabine during a walk in the garden. She tells the man about an imaginary angel, who for some reason speaks to her in German. Jung warns that he needs to leave the clinic soon. The girl has a nervous breakdown. Her cloak falls down and Jung tries to shake it off the dust. This action triggers the heroine. At home, Carl gathers his things and complains to his wife about the idleness of his work. The nurse brings Sabine food, but the girl refuses to eat. The woman complains about the patient's behavior to the professor. Later, the man catches her paddling in the swamp. She is stained with mud. The medical staff brings Sabina back to the clinic to bathe her. When Jung returns, he offers Sabine to assist him, justifying his request on the grounds of understaffing. The doctor sets up the machine and conducts an experiment with his wife. He calls Emma words to make an associative series. The man records the answers and clocks the time. After seeing his wife off, he asks his assistant what she noticed during the experiment. Sabina says that the woman is afraid of losing her husband's interest. Jung notes that the girl has a therapeutic flair. Jung continues the therapy by talking to the heroine. She tells him that a talking cat lives in the room with her. The girl is freaked out by this because an imaginary cat is sleeping in bed with her, but she realizes that no one is really there. The doctor questions the patient about whether she was thinking about wet fantasies at that moment. Sabina confesses. After her sessions with Sabina, the doctor tells his wife how the treatment is going. While Emma is at home with the baby, the doctor continues the sessions. Carl asks the girl to tell about the first time her father scolded her. The girl was 4 and had been brought up in a closet. When all this was going on, Sabina felt invigorated. Then, every time her father sent her or her brothers to the closet, the girl was happy about what was happening. Over time, any humiliation began to trigger her sensuality. Sabina recalls the moment when the doctor, shaking off her coat, beat it with a stick. Then she too felt invigorated. The heroine confesses to feeling dirty. 2 years later, the doctor and his wife visit Freud in Vienna. Jung suggests to his mentor that he revise the names of the categories so that society will perceive his work better. At the table, Carl tries to choose his words, but Sigmund says that his family is used to everything and the guest can feel free to express himself. The men discuss a Russian patient with whom Jung is working. The doctor shares with the teacher the stories the girl told him. Freud asks if Sabina has had affairs. Jung thinks the girl's clean. Later, at the men's club, Carl has lunch with his mentor. They discuss Freud's theory, which is misunderstood and criticized. Sigmund shares information about how he feels about national minorities, suggesting that this is the main reason for the rejection of his theory. At home, Jung tells a colleague about his strange dream. The men try to unravel what they have seen. Freud associates the horse with the hero, the obstacle with the fact that the student's wife has recovered, and the cart with the burden of responsibility. The men's conversation lasted 13 hours, and the scientist concluded that Jung suppresses his desire. When Carl returns home, he goes on a therapeutic walk with Sabine. The man talks about his trip to Freud and remarks that one should be wary of his colleague. He easily convinces others of what he is talking about. The girl admires the opera. She and the doctor like the legend of Siegfried. Sabine wonders if she too can become a psychiatrist like her doctor. Otto Gross comes to the clinic for treatment. He talks to Jung about his life. Having had many promiscuous affairs, Otto is surprised that the doctor is faithful to his wife. The men discuss monogamy. At the end, Gross shares his experience. suggesting that the doctor should tell his patients what they want to hear, so that the doctor will increase his popularity. Jung and his assistant conduct another experiment. Sabina records the data the doctor observes. Later, Jung talks to Otto again about monogamy and why he is attracted to his patients, but the man has an answer to any of the doctor's questions. Sabine recounts her impressions of Wagner's opera on the riverbank. The girl is sad that she cannot understand everything thoroughly because of her lack of experience. Suddenly, she kisses Jung. The characters discuss who should take the initiative. After showing where she lives, the girl leaves. Otto advises Carl to test himself with a patient. Jung begins to doubt the reasonableness of his life positions. The doctor is afraid of Gross's influence and worries that he has begun to devote less time to his other patients. He tells Sabina about the talk of monogamy. Before escaping from the clinic, Otto spends active time with the nurse outdoors. Jung examines the notes on the walls in Otto's room. Carl finds a note addressed to him. Gross advises his colleague to take a sip from the well to get drunk. Carl comes to visit Sabine. They give in to temptation on the doorstep and later move into an apartment to get to know each other even better. Sabina is happy with what they had, and she thoroughly enjoyed the process. Next episode, Jung and his wife are looking at a new house. The woman has gained weight and feels guilty. To please her husband, Emma has a surprise for him, a yacht Carl has been dreaming of. The man comes to Sabina again and she wants to sleep with him, but Carl pushes the girl away. The hero wants to speak out. He tells that he is married and lives a lie, but he does not want to stop relations with the Russian. Sabina wonders what kind of relationship they have with Emma. Carl argues about the habit and tenderness for his wife. Then the girl suggests Jung to sleep with her again. When Emma loses weight, she proposes to her husband to return to the family. Sabina looks at Jung's yacht, remembering how they played chess on deck. Visiting Freud in Vienna, the hero listens to his mentor's confession. Sigmund regrets having sent Otto to Jung's clinic. He no longer considers Gross a worthy follower and convinces Carl of his exclusivity. Freud agrees to support his friend's mystical inclinations, but asks him to adhere to a strictly scientific framework so that they are not discriminated against. Jung does not understand his colleague's position. There are too many mysteries around that he wants to solve, and the men argue. The doctor finds new ways to treat Sabina, which pleases the girl. After they get to know each other more deeply, Sabina tells Carl a verse by Lermontov about a prisoner, associating it with her future as a doctor. Freud arrives at Bergelslee. The men conduct an experiment in a bathtub with a woman who enjoys brisk walks with various people. Jung takes the man for a ride on his yacht, and Sigmund shares with a colleague the gossip that goes around in Vienna about Jung. Later, Carl talks to Sabine about ending their relationship. The girl is heartbroken. Emma doesn't like Freud and is glad the man has left. The woman admits that it was she who spread the rumors in Vienna to bring her husband back into the family. Sabine bursts into Jung's office. The couple discusses what's going on. Carl only agrees to spend time with the girl as her doctor. Jung regrets crossing the line. Sabine is indignant. In anger, she scratches his cheek and pays for the appointment. The girl writes to Freud. She wants to visit the doctor in Vienna and talk. Sigmund informs his friend about Spielrain's letter and the girl's desire to ruin Jung's reputation. The doctor refuses to let her see him. He insists that Sabine deal with the unrequited feeling herself. When the girl receives Freud's answer, she sobs in the park. Later, Sabina comes to Carl asking him to confess to Freud that they had an intimate relationship. She wants the doctor to trust her and continue her treatment. Jung is disappointed by Sigmund's pragmatism, but agrees to write to him for Sabine's sake. The man tells about the upcoming trip with Freud to America. In the letter, Carl confesses to his mentor that he slept with a Russian. The men sail together to America. They discuss Jung's new dream and make attempts to unravel it. Carl wants to hear what Freud dreamed, but his colleague fears for his authority and does not want to say anything. After a while, Jung and Sabine meet in Switzerland. The girl sends him her dissertation and wants to work with a specialist. The couple actively discusses the girl's thesis, which is a refutation of Freud's theory. Friends remember old times and again actively spend time together. Sabine is going to leave Zurich after she receives her diploma. She wants to go to a place where she will be free. Carl asks her to stay with him. 2 years later, she discusses her thesis with Freud. The girl begins to understand why Freud and Jung did not find common ground. The doctor convinces the guest that he has no disagreements with Carl. Sabina wants to find a way to try on men, but Sigmund asks her not to trust anyone and offers the girl to lead his patients. Later, the psychiatrist meet and Freud asks why Karl did not mention him in his writings. The men hold allegories with Egyptian pharaohs. Suddenly Sigmund falls and Jung rushes to his aid. In correspondence, the colleagues decide to end their friendship. Freud puts his student's photo away in a drawer, removing him from his life. After a while, Sabine comes to visit Jung. Spielrein wants to devote herself to child psychology, but is not sure that she will get the approval of her old friend. The girl has recovered a lot. She communicates about home and life with Karl's wife. Emma talks about the fact that her husband has not recovered from his breakup with Freud. The girl goes to the riverbank where Karl is sitting. She talks about her marriage and the friends discuss Sabina's husband. Then Jung tells her his dream. The man has a premonition of trouble. The friend is offended that the girl took Freud's side, but Sabine is only grateful to the doctor for healing. Jung is skeptical of her words and is sure that only a suffering doctor can heal another. The couple discusses the man's new girlfriend, finding out that she is very similar to Sabina. Jung's feelings for the girl help him to understand himself. Sabina drives away in an automobile, playing Wagner's opera. Jung sits in a chair in the courtyard and stares into the distance. It was a 2011 movie called A Dangerous Method. Would you be able to maintain neutrality if you were between your good friend and someone you respect endlessly?